Welcome back to the program, everyone. I'm your host, as always, Jeff, otherwise known as LitecoinLeader. You have some information going across the bottom that tells you about how to contact us more, find out more information about crypto and courses and so on. But today, what I wanted to talk about is a certain law called Gresham's Law. First question is, what is that? I'll get into that in a second. But before I do, if you like this kind of content, I really have to remember to ask this stuff, which is to say, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below. All it helps out the channel. But I recently just got done our last AMA for the year. More information coming about that later on. Stay tuned for that. More to come in 2024 with the Economic Preppers. But today I want to talk about Gresham's Law because it is important to know what this law is and what it says. And it's going to be a big thing that's going forward in our economy. And one of the things that it says, well, the simple thing that says, let's just share it. And I've got lots of highlights in the article. Pardon me as I read some of it, but I think it's pretty entertaining to go through, and I'll jump in and out of here to talk about the different parts. And I've highlighted it as much as I can and made it as large as I can for the reader. There we go. It's really large now. Okay. So highlight it again. The closer the color is to red, the probably the more challenging or bad news it is, whereas green is good. So pardon me if you have the dreaded red-green color blindness, but we'll move on. First off, Gresham's Law. What is it? Gresham's Law is a principle that states that bad money drives out good and can be applied to the currency markets. So just remember the phrase, bad money drives out good. The law stemmed from the historical use of precious metals to manufacture coins and their subsequent value. Since the abandonment of metallic currency standards, the theory often describes the stability and movement of different currencies in global markets. Basically, bad money gets spent first. And I'll give an example of that, and then I'll come back to this. Let me drop out here for a second. I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between this article. I'll put the link in the description below. It's from Investopedia. It's really interesting with the examples that they give, but let me give my own first example. Again, the idea of Gresham's Law is that bad money drives out good money. Okay, so bad money, it gets spent first. That's the idea. So bad money will drive good money out of circulation. That's what they mean, drives out. So in other words, for thousands of years, gold has been perceived as the number one form of money. For many reasons I've gone over before, comparing that to Bitcoin and such. So before Bitcoin existed, gold was the gold standard, of course. So gold was money because you didn't have to worry about what the government issued currency and how stable the government was and so on. But let me give a real simple example, okay? Now, most of you probably remember Chuck E. Cheese, which I don't even think that exists anymore. If you know one, leave it down in the comments. I'd be curious where there are still in one. But I want you to imagine a casino with a Chuck E. Cheese inside of it, okay? So now there's a Chuck E. Cheese inside this casino. Let's call it Circus. I know there's not one in Circus, but I'm just going to use it as an example. So there's a Chuck E. Cheese inside of a casino, which is in the United States. Okay, so you have the US dollar, and inside you've got the casino, then you've got Chuck E. Cheese. Now, Chuck E. Cheese, for those who don't know, had their own little tokens for the games that they played, kind of like if you go to any Dave and Buster's or ESPN Zone or some place where you play games with tokens. You have to buy tokens to play the game. That currency of the tokens are only valid inside that facility. So in Chuck E. Cheese tokens have value. Outside of Chuck E. Cheese, no one really cares about your Chuck E. Cheese tokens. You can spend 1,000 of them and get a big stuffed animal or whatever, but they have no value outside of that building. So you have, again, going back to the example, you have a casino with a Chuck E. Cheese inside of it. Go outside of the Chuck E. Cheese into the rest of the casino. No one cares, or most people don't, about your Chuck E. Cheese tokens, right? They're there to play, or they're there to spend their currency in the casino as best they can. Now, some people have exchanged their dollars for Chuck E. Cheese tokens. Now, some people in the casino have exchanged their dollars for casino chips. Now, casino chips have a lot more value because they're applicable all throughout the casino for the most part. Most people know that you can take a casino chip and exchange it at the cashier and get US dollars for them. They have, while they're not valid, the further and further you get away from the casino, the less value that they have, because, it's very hard. Even if you're in New Jersey with other casinos, you can't exchange a Las Vegas casino for Circus in the New Jersey, say the Borgata in New Jersey. So you can't it's further you get away from that location where that's a currency, the harder it is to exchange. So you can think about it as countries as well. But the example holds true. So inside the Chuck E. Cheese, the Chuck E. Cheese tokens have value, right? Outside of that building, now you're in the casino. The casino chips have value because a lot of people will use that as currency. You can even tip someone there, they'll accept it because they know in the casino it's very easy to go to the cashier and get US dollars for them. Outside of the casino, the further and further you get away, the less and less value those casino chips will have. Because again, that's not a currency that most people will accept. Like if you get away from Las Vegas, I mean, if there might be a merchant in Las Vegas that says, sure, I'll take your casino chips. They may not even take them at face value, but they'll take them at a discount because they know they're going to have to do the work of going to the casino, exchange them, getting dollars for them, and coming back. It's kind of a pain, but they'll do it. Some of them will. But if you're in California or if you're in Texas or if you're in Michigan, casino chips for a Las Vegas casino probably don't have a lot of value because it's really hard to exchange them. So now again, thinking that way inside. So the first money inside that casino, you're going to go to Chuck E. Cheese and you're going to spend all of your Chuck E. Cheese tokens there because they have little value outside of that. So that's the bad money. Then the bad money will drive out the good. So the bad money, like all the Chuck E. Cheese tokens, because they have so little acceptance, that's the bad money. That will be driven. So that will drive the rest out of circulation. So inside the Chuck E. Cheese, what happens in the Chuck E. Cheese economy is that everyone will spend the Chuck E. Cheese tokens because they don't have any value anywhere else. That will drive out the casino tokens, right? The casino tokens won't be spent in the Chuck E. Cheese because they have more value outside of the Chuck E. Cheese. Now in the casino, everyone will be spending their casino tokens, all their poker chips and whatnot. They'll spend them in the casino because they know outside of that, they can't really spend them. So in both places, the US dollar won't really be spent if you can avoid it. You'll spend, if you have Chuck E. Cheese tokens or if you have casino tokens, you will spend them on-prem in that location as quickly as you can because you know how difficult it will be to liquidate those and spend them when you get away from those facilities. So going back to an economy, okay? Let's say you're at the US border between Mexico and US or US and Canada. You know that maybe there's some cities and towns on the border that will accept, let's see, I'm trying to think of, I can't think of the Texas ones. So let's say Niagara Falls or Detroit or Vancouver or maybe even, Victoria, Canada, or whatever's across from whoever's in the border town. I can't remember the ones in Texas. I know Tijuana is on the Mexico side. If you know one of the Texas border states, please leave in the comments the cities that I can't think of that I should know, but I can't remember. But the cities that like you're going to spend your pesos in Mexico. The further you get away from Mexico, the harder they are to spend. That's why the dollar has more value. But the dollar is so ubiquitous around the world. It is the global currency. So everybody will keep the dollar. So again, you will spend the currencies that have less liquidity, have less acceptance sooner and faster. That means that fast forwarding to the economy, what does that all mean? That means applying Gresham's law to the US dollar. US dollars will get spent more often and faster than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is going to get more and more acceptance and hold more value over time. That's why people that mention Gresham's law, they typically would mention it to say, I'm going to hold my silver and gold because that has more value everywhere in the world. Everywhere, every country will accept silver and gold as money, but some places may not even accept the US dollar, but some places won't accept the euro, certainly won't accept like Zimbabwe dollars or certain other countries' dollars. They won't accept them because they're not worth anything to them because it's very hard for them to spend them. So you will spend what is locally accepted first, and then you will spend last what is accepted in a bigger audience in the rest of the world. So that's why a lot of the people that like Bitcoin say that Gresham's law is applied to Bitcoin. You will spend your dollars first because they're being inflated. Their purchasing power is going down. They are weaker currencies. So according to Gresham's law, and by the example I mentioned before, you will spend your currency that has the least value first, the least purchasing power, and you'll save the best for last. That's what Gresham's law means, and that's how it applies to Bitcoin. So you're going to save your Bitcoin for last because that's going to, as we've seen in the past 13 years or more, Bitcoin goes up in value while the dollar declines in purchasing power. That is a real life example of Gresham's law in comparing the dollar to Bitcoin and even Bitcoin to gold. So what are your thoughts? How do you like these examples? Do you get my casino and Chuck E. Cheese examples? Do you know an example where there's still a Chuck E. Cheese? I'd love to know. But hopefully this is helpful to you. If you get it, leave a comment down below. If you don't get it, leave a comment down below. I would love to read all your comments. I always respond to all of them. But with all that said, I'm going to leave it there for now, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.